Who would have thunk it? Obama got it wrong again. Now, he's finally apologized, but you know what? It took a while for referring to Polish death camps. Look, this is really very basic stuff. They were German Nazi death camps run by German Nazis and some of their allies, built in Poland often because so many of their victims, Jewish and Catholic, were Polish. And why are the Poles so angry and sensitive? Well, I can understand it. Let's ask the Polish ambassador to our country, Zenon Kosianiak-Kamysz. Welcome to you, sir.
How do you do?
Now, let's begin by showing just the brief clip of Barack Obama. Let's see that.
Before one trip across enemy lines, resistance fighters told him that Jews were being murdered on a massive scale and smuggled him into the Warsaw Ghetto and a Polish death camp to see for himself.
Now, Ambassador, many people would say, well, it's just a slip of the tongue, and it probably was, but it was already written. But why are Polish people so upset when that phraseology is used?
Yes, it was, of course, a slip of a tongue, but on the other hand, you have to understand the sensitiveness of Polish people to such a definition of a Polish death or concentration camp. In order to understand that, one has to be at least a little bit familiar with the history of Poland. Being placed between Germany and Russia, two superpowers, we had to struggle in our history for our independence many, many times. And we had not only many occasions to celebrate our victories, but as well to mourn. The most tragic event in our history was, of course, the World War II. Poland lost almost 6 million its citizens, both Polish and Jewish descent. And for us, the World War II is not only a part of far history. As for my generation, we are called in Poland the post-war generation. Our relatives, our fathers, including my father, they took part in the struggle against Nazi Germany. And that's why this is a very sensitive issue when somebody from Poland or somebody who suffered during the Second War hear about the Polish death camp.
Mm-hmm. People don't always understand that as well as the millions of Jews, Polish and non-Polish, who died in those death camps, there were also huge numbers of Polish Catholics, Polish soldiers, officers, Polish clergy, Polish politicians, ordinary Polish people, resistance fighters, ordinary Poles. Huge numbers, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, were also killed in German Nazi concentration camps.
Of course, there were not only people of Jewish descent, but the war started in 1939 on the 1st of September in Poland, and there were Polish soldiers fighting against Nazi Germany. And at that time, we didn't count is somebody Catholic or is Jewish. The religion was not as important. We tried to resist against our invader, both German and then Russians. Of course, many Catholics were involved in this independence fight, not only at the beginning of the war, but then we organized the Home Army, the huge underground resistance army in Poland. And last but not least, we also resisted against these invaders, organizing two uprisings, one in the Jewish ghetto and the other one, Warsaw Uprising, 1944.
Mm. And of course, the Warsaw Uprising, which was so valiant, the Red Army, the Soviet Army, stood by. They could actually see the fighting, but refused to intervene because they wanted the Nazis to try and eliminate Polish resistance and Polish nationalism because they wanted to come in afterwards and pick up the pieces.
Yeah, and to eliminate Polish intelligentsia as well. It is a very, very sad and frustrating story from the end of the war. The Russian army were close to Warsaw on the other edge of the Vistula River, looking the city, the capital, when it collapsed, and Hitler decided finally to punish our capital and turn down almost the entire city.
Yeah, and of course modern Warsaw has been rebuilt, so much of it was destroyed. Ambassador, I really appreciate your time. It's very important people understand this. I think the Polish people have not been treated properly by history for any number of reasons. Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this conversation, as we also appreciated the letter sent from President Obama to the Polish President Komorowski, regretting this using of this definition, Polish concentration camp.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.